introduce it.
I'll do it next time.
Welcome to Beyond the Game podcast. I'm your host, Trey.
I'm your host, Terry. What's going on, everybody?
And tonight we're going to be jumping into week 5 of college football.
Mm-hmm.
Bear with us for a second. I think Terry's going to try to get us live on TikTok.
Oh, my God, am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're kind of trying to branch out. Our TikTok for the show will be live tomorrow. We're going to start posting some clips and eventually try to build up to the stage of where we can go live on there. We got some interesting games starting with Friday, Saturday. NFL will finish off Sunday and Monday. A lot of opportunities to make some money this weekend. I got 4 lines picked out that I really like for college football. And as we get into NFL, I'll probably pick 2 or 3 that I really like. And as y'all know, and if you've watched the last couple weeks, each week we go through the show, pick who we think will win. Doesn't matter. They could be a minus 1,000 money line, and we'll still pick them. We try to cover the top games, mainly stick to the top 25 matchups. Sometimes you can find some outliers in just FBS, unranked teams. Pretty good matchup this weekend with South Carolina and Kentucky. Anyways, we'll kind of jump into it with Friday, September 26, 2025. It's going to be number 8, Florida State traveling up to Virginia. That game starts at 7, gives time for everybody to get off work. Fix you a little rum and Coke, Jack and Coke, whatever your little taste is, you can jump straight into it. FSU is picked in this game by 6.5, over under 60.5. Just to jump into a little betting line, I actually really like Florida State to win this game and cover the spread at least by a touchdown.
I 100% think Florida State's going to win this game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what most people think. Virginia has a good football team this year. They've been playing good ball up there in Charlottesville. I think that Florida State's probably going to have a little bit more depth than Virginia is going to have. So with that being said, I think Florida State wins this, and I agree with you. I think they're going to cover the spread too.
Next up in the 9 o'clock slate, while you got that good little buzz going on, you just want some money on Florida State. We got number 24 TCU facing off against Arizona State, which is trying to come back and be a ranked opponent. Arizona State's actually picked in this game by minus 3.5. I kind of want to say TCU wins this ball game.
So, I think if Arizona State struggles with TCU's passing attack and that upbeat offense that they're running down there, I think then yes, it's going to be a struggle for them. But don't count out Arizona State being ready for this game and probably playing well. I'm not going to pick this one because I think it could go either way.
So moving into Saturday, a little appetizer for you. Starting off at 12 o'clock is going to be number 16 Georgia Tech facing off against Wake Forest. This is another one of those lines that I really like for the weekend. Wake Forest with Robbie Ashford is absolutely terrible this year. They are 2-1, but they have not looked good in their wins, and their wins are not against good opponents. Georgia Tech's picked by 13.5. I think they easily covered the spread. And if you're really feeling kind of naughty, you can take an over-under of 52.5.
Look, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, as far as this is concerned, sorry guys, trying to get here. Okay. Georgia Tech's going to blow Wake Forest out. Wake Forest is a horrible football team this year. Wake Forest has a hard time putting good football teams out on the field from time to time. This is the typical Wake Forest year. They're the Vanderbilt of the ACC. Georgia Tech's going to go in there. I don't care who their quarterback is. Robbie Ashford, he was trash at Auburn. He's trash at Wake Forest. So Georgia Tech's going to do exactly what Georgia Tech needs to do and embarrass the hell out of them.
Yeah, he did suck at Auburn last year and has continued to suck at Wake Forest. I think Georgia Tech blows them out as well. Kind of cover this game a little bit. Number 21 USC versus number 23 Illinois. Illinois in a kind of a comeback spot after getting pretty much blown the fuck out against Indiana last week.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tell you USC is going to do the same thing Indiana did to Illinois last week. I think this is going to be the last week Illinois is going to be ranked in the top 25 for a little while. I think USC, they've got too much depth. Lincoln Riley, his offensive mind, how they're going to pick apart the Illinois defense. I think Illinois will hang in probably up to about halftime, but come third quarter, you're going to see the difference in depth in all the positions, and USC is going to run that one and come away 5-0 and move up in the rankings. And Illinois is going to drop to 3-2 and fall out of the rankings. After that, we've got number 22 Notre Dame at Arkansas. Arkansas is coming off of a heartbreaking loss last week, which from a game that they shouldn't have even lost to begin with. Notre Dame is 1-2. They got their first win last week. I think that this game is gonna be close for a little bit, but I think in the end, Notre Dame's offensive firepower that they have between Jordan Love and all the receivers and the quarterback, they're gonna blow Arkansas out. I don't think Arkansas is gonna be able to, and especially if it becomes a shootout. If it becomes a shootout, I don't think Arkansas is gonna be able to keep up.
Yeah, Arkansas has suffered some rough losses this year. They've been in one-possession games and always kind of tend to turn the ball over. I think this is a defensive game. Over-under set at 63.5, and I kind of see that one going under, to be honest. That is not one of my, I guess, recommended betting lines for the weekend, but that's one that I'd kind of favor if I'm looking at that game.
Yeah.
Next up in the slate, we got Utah State versus number 18 Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's picked by 23.5. Kind of learned earlier in the year to typically not take these kind of spreads, but obviously Vanderbilt wins this game.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt beats Utah State. I think this is going to be a relatively easy game for Vanderbilt if they go out there and take care of business. Now, if they go out there and they play around, or if they go out there and they decide not to do what they need to do, then Utah State's going to sneak up on them and potentially could cause Vanderbilt to have a headache during that game. But I think Vanderbilt will be ready to play, and I think they'll handle business. After that, we got Louisville and Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh bounces back after a loss last week and beats Louisville this week. They're looking to prove something. So I think that that game's going to be close. It's going to be exciting. They're playing in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got a good football team this year for the ACC. This is an ACC game against Louisville. Louisville is undefeated. But I just think that I think Pittsburgh's going to be a little too much for Louisville. And then after that, you got Cincinnati and Kansas. I think Kansas wins this game. They're playing at home. Their quarterback's already thrown for 12 touchdowns this year already. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that. And I think Cincinnati's going to struggle. And then UCF and Kansas State. Kansas State hurting. I didn't realize they were 1-3. I didn't realize they lost last week.
Yeah, so Kansas State's kind of down the rabbit hole right now that FSU went down last year.
Yeah,
which kind of hurts to see. I know they had really big intentions on the year.
Avery Johnson's not playing well. I mean, he's only thrown for 851 yards and 6 touchdowns. On the other hand, UCF, Scott Frost back down at UCF, back down in Orlando. He's got the UCF Knights playing hard. They're 3-0. This will be a first conference game for them. I think they could be a sleeper in the Big 12 if they play and handle business the way they play and handle business. So I think Kansas State will keep it close because they are playing in Manhattan, and it's hard to beat Kansas State at home. But I think in the end, UCF is just going to be too much of a match for them, and they're going to take it.
Yeah, into a big primetime game we got here is number 1 Ohio State facing off against Washington at 3:30. Ohio State's picked by 7.5. Over/under's 51.5. This is kind of the first time that we're going to see Ohio State in what looks like to be a good matchup since they played Texas early in the season.
Yeah, I haven't seen Washington play this year, obviously because being on the West Coast, they're 3 hours behind us. So when they play the late games, I'm typically headed off to bed. They're going to Washington, so Ohio State's going to have to deal with probably a little bit of jet lag, getting used to that schedule out there. I think Ohio State's going to win this. I think Washington will keep it close for a little bit, but I think in the end, Ohio State's defense is just lights out. I mean, you can put them against anybody right now, and whoever they play is going to struggle. And I say that even with it being Oregon too. Washington and Oregon run similar offenses, so I think Ohio State. I think this is just going to be a game for them that they're going to go out and handle business, and then head home and be 4-0. And Washington will get their first their first loss of the year and their first loss in
So,
the
do you
conference.
think Ohio State has the ability to cover the spread of 7.5, or are we kind of leaning that Washington has the ability to keep it close?
I think they will cover the spread at 7.5. I think it'll be close up through halftime, but then after that, I think what's going to happen is Ohio State's going to run with it, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, from a recruiting standpoint, Ryan Day has got more big-time players at Ohio State than they do at Washington, and I think what's going to happen is Washington's not going to be able to substitute much to keep their starters off the field, to give them a blow and a break. And I think Ohio State's going to take advantage of that, probably start of the third quarter or mid-third quarter, and then they're just going to run away with it.
Also in the 3:30 slate, a huge game with major playoff and SEC kind of intentions is number 4 LSU facing off against 13 Ole Miss at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is picked by 1.5 in this game. The over-under set at 57.5. I think this is a high-scoring offensive matchup.
I think it's going to be a shootout. I think at the end of the night, everybody's going to be asking where the other defenses were at.
Yeah, I'll cover this before we go to break, and not that the break's coming up, but I'll put out one of like the 3 betting lines or 4 betting lines that I've picked for this week, but absolutely am hammering the over for this game. It's going to be a shootout. They're easily going to cover 58.
Yeah, I think the first quarter will be tight as they feel each other out and make adjustments, but maybe right toward the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, I think they will open up the offensive playbooks on both sides, and it will then become a shootout all the way through the rest of the game.
For sure.
And whoever turns the ball over the most is going to be the one who loses the game, I think, at this point. Also, whoever runs the ball the best, which I think LSU may have a slight advantage in the rushing game, but we'll see.
Especially with 2 dual-threat quarterbacks.
Yes.
That we've seen kind of run over offenses this year.
Yeah.
Or run over defenses.
Yeah.
What I look to be a bounce-back game is going to be Auburn versus number 9 Texas A&M at 3:30. Auburn, I believe, beat Texas A&M last year and kept them out of the SEC championship.
Yeah, but last year they played at Jordan-Hare, so Auburn was at home, and Auburn's a really tough football team to beat when they're playing at home in Jordan-Hare. I'm going to go opposite. I think Texas A&M wins this game. I think Auburn keeps it close, but I think Auburn has some of the same issues that they've had over these last 3 weeks. The offensive issues, the penalties. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you.
So let's not forget, Auburn is one kind of bullshit play away from being 4-0 right now.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that penalty that was called last week in that Oklahoma game, whew, son. But it is what it is. I think Auburn I think they will play hard. They will play Auburn ball. But I just don't think they're going to be. I don't think they have enough to beat Texas A&M at home.
Me and you will differ on that one. I think Auburn has enough to beat Texas A&M, and I do think that they carry out a win out of Kyle Field.
We'll see.
Number 11 Indiana faces off against Iowa. Indiana's picked by 8.5. I know a lot of people are going to be on Indiana 8.5 just because what they did to Illinois last week.
Yeah, but. And here's my wrench in that. I think if Iowa plays the way they played last week and they play ball control and they keep the ball away from Indiana, I think Iowa has a very good chance of winning this game. And we'll see how it goes.
We getting any comments?
I'm having a hard time reading them upside down.
Yeah, me as well.
I'm trying to get all
look
of
for. For the rest of the 3:30 slate, we're kind of at a loss there. Kind of just warm-up games, not big implications. Starting at 4:15, we do have Tennessee facing off against 4-0 Mississippi State. I don't see anything out of Mississippi State that's going to keep this game close, and that Tennessee can't run away with it and cover this 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Lebby's got some good things going on down in Mississippi State.
I still think he needs another year.
But I agree with you. I don't think they have the same athletes that Tennessee has. I don't think they have the depth that Tennessee has. And not to mention that Mississippi State hasn't really played anybody yet. They went through their scrub schedule. They're just now getting into their SEC schedule. And I think, this is going to be one of them where, we won 4 games the first 4 weeks of the year. But now that we're getting into this SEC schedule, we're probably going to lose about 6 of those games, if not more. That may be about all the games that Mississippi State wins. No, I don't either. I'm a huge Jeff Lebby fan. I think he's a great coach, and he's doing some good things down there. But I agree with you. He needs another year to get some athletes down there and to be able to compete with the other SEC schools.
Yeah, but let's not forget that if Mississippi State walks away with this win over Tennessee, their recruiting program just hit another notch.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because as a recruit, now I get to come in. I kind of get to change the program to me, and we get to put Mississippi State football back on top.
Yeah, I agree.
Into the 7:30 slate, which is what I'm probably most excited for, is number 6 Oregon going into number 3 Penn State. It's going to be a whiteout, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous. I think I saw a stat the other day that they're like 0-12 when facing off against top 10 teams and doing a whiteout.
I think Oregon wins this game.
Oregon absolutely wins this game.
Yeah, Dan Lanning's just – I'm not taking anything away from James Franklin. He's a good coach. He did some great things when he was at Vanderbilt. He's done some great things at Penn State, but he is having a hard time winning the necessary games to get them over that hump, to get them into a college football playoff. And this is going to be one of those games. I think with the loss to Oregon and the loss to Ohio State later on in the year, maybe even a loss to Michigan, depending on how Michigan's playing by then, Penn State finishes 9-3, and they're on the outside looking in again. And I hate to say that because Penn State's a good football team, but when you can't beat the teams like Oregon and the Ohio States, I don't know what to tell you.
Here's my game of the week. Alabama has to come into Sanford Stadium at 7:30, primetime game against Georgia. All the fans have already said it's a blackout. Georgia's picked by 2.5. It actually opened at 3.5 Tuesday or Wednesday, so the line's kind of closed down. Over under is going to be 53.5. I, obviously being a Georgia fan, I think Georgia has the ability to walk away with this game in huge fashion. I think Georgia has the ability to do to Alabama what Florida State did to them. Ty Simpson is starting to play decent ball right now, but against lesser opponents.
We were not going to have the same type of game that we had last year. There's no Jalen Milroe. There's no dual threat quarterback. I think Georgia's going to go into – I think Alabama's going to come into Sanford Stadium and probably get slapped around a little bit. I do think they will keep it close, but I think toward the end of the game, Alabama's defense is probably going to be tired because I honestly think Georgia's defense is going to shut Alabama's offense down and make them one-dimensional.
So the only worry I have in this game, and just as an honest sports watcher, kind of diving into a little bit of sports media, trying to keep bias out of it, my only worry is if we have not cleaned up the secondary issues that we had against Tennessee. Because with Ty Simpson being a pocket passer, if we have not cleaned up our secondary, we had the potential to get picked apart.
If Alabama's offensive line can block, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, with y'all's front seven, that's going to be a tall task for that Alabama offensive line. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to be able to keep them out a little bit, but I just think after the grind of the game, the wear and tear, and eventually probably becoming one-dimensional, I think that Georgia's just going to be too much for Alabama this year. Alabama's going to fall to 2-2, and then Georgia will be 4-0.
Yeah, kind of closing out that 7:30, 7:45 slate's going to be Kentucky, South Carolina. Both teams have kind of laid an egg this year. I know first episode of the year I posted South Carolina had the potential to go to the SEC championship this year just based off their schedule.
Yeah,
they
not
have
anymore.
laid an absolute egg. And Kentucky has the potential to win their first SEC game this weekend.
Yeah, and I think if South Carolina's not careful, Kentucky can walk away with this game. There's a rumor going around that Sellers may be getting ready to transfer I don't know how true that is. I saw it earlier today. I didn't read the article. So if that's the case, South Carolina's really going to have an issue this year if they lose him. But if he does play, he decides to stay, then playing South Carolina at home, I see South Carolina winning. But if they're without Sellers or they just go out there and lay another egg, then, yeah, Kentucky definitely can get their first SEC win.
Yeah, and I will be picking Kentucky to win that game. Kind of a late game that me and you probably won't watch is BYU Colorado. BYU is picked by 6.5 to win this game.
Yeah, I don't think this is the year that everybody was expecting Colorado to have. I think BYU wins this game. I think Colorado's got some offensive issues. The quarterback's a good quarterback, but I think the lack of protection with the offensive line, I think the lack of weapons to throw to on the perimeter, and the fact that they cannot get a rushing game going, I think that's just hurting Deion and them out there in Colorado. So I don't see Colorado winning this game. Now, if they do, great, but yeah, I think BYU wins this.
Yeah, I do as well. I think this is Deion's last year in Colorado, if you want me to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just the struggles. And let's be honest here, Colorado's really never been on top, even with Deion there.
Yeah.
They've laid eggs in the big games that they were supposed to win, even last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand the confidence surrounding that program to not have won anything yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And for all you Army fans out there, they just got started over at East Carolina. 0-0. Thursday night game. All American Conference.
So now we'll move into kind of what I said earlier, that kind of our betting portion for college football of the slate. Starting off Friday night, we'll call it a pay for your drinks Friday night. Florida State's minus 6.5. Be hammering that one home. I think they have the potential to cover the 6.5 point spread against Virginia, and their defense looks legit this year. What they did against Alabama, I can honestly see them doing that to Virginia as well.
Oh, 100%.
Carrying that momentum into Saturday and Saturday, we're going to go with a 3-leg parlay, which is going to be Georgia Tech minus 13.5, USC minus 6.5, and LSU Ole Miss over 57.5. I believe for this play, $100 is going to pay right out about $800. So you can buy your drinks for the whole month at that point. We're going to go to a short break for the moment, unless Terry has some pretty good lines that he wants to give out.
No, just a little bit of quick news coming out of the college football world. Mateer surgery down in Oklahoma apparently was a success. So it looks like everything's going to be working out for him. Obviously, everybody knows about the SEC 9-game schedule, the conference schedule that's starting next year. There's some annual rivalries that are no longer going to be played annually based off of that 9-game schedule. So, check your schedules next year and see what your team's going to be playing. And then I think the biggest news is the College Football Committee met today, and they were expecting a possible change to the college football format. That did not happen. According to the reports, they said that they had more important things to discuss and more important things to hash out before they started talking about moving to the college football format. Outside of that, Ole Miss is going to be starting Chambliss at quarterback this weekend. UF's defensive back Johnson is out for the season.
Which I believe we mentioned that a couple weeks ago, that there may be some quarterback controversy down in Ole Miss.
Yeah, and then Auburn's player Fields is out with a broken foot. That's all the latest headlines going on in the college football world.
Also, SEC released their schedules for the next 4 years.
Yes,
and
they
if you're a Georgia or Florida fan living Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina area out here on the East Coast, next year, just go ahead and mark Halloween Day. Georgia and Florida face off in Mercedes-Benz.
And we will be there.
We will. So we're going to take a short break. If you're live with us on TikTok, we won't be going to a break. You'll kind of get to see some behind the scenes of break action.
Yep.
We'll be right back here in about 3 to 5 minutes to cover some NFL news and the big games coming up this week, starting with tonight's game that kicks off here in about 35 minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Game podcast. I'm your host, Trey.
And I'm your host, Terry.
And we will be jumping into some NFL games, starting with the Thursday night slate, Seahawks-Cardinals. It kicks off here in 30 minutes. Seahawks are picked in this game by 1.5. The over-under is 43.5. I would not even want to touch this game. The Cardinals' defenses look legit, and Sam Darnold has actually looked pretty good the past couple weekends, other than a couple turnovers.
Yeah, 663 total yards passing, 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He has been looking pretty good. So.
Yeah, I think if Seahawks can limit their turnovers, they will win this game.
I agree. I think they're just a more complete team right now. Cardinals just got some issues.
Moving into Sunday, we have a good game at 9:30 a.m. over in Dublin, Ireland.
I was going to say, yeah, they're in Ireland, aren't they?
For those of us that don't pay for NFL Network and NFL Plus because Roger Goodell sucks, we won't be able to watch this game, but I guess we'll watch it on ESPN as they score. I guess I'm going to take Steelers in this game. I know Vikings are trying to heal up some injuries.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason will be starting this week for the Vikings.
At quarterback?
No, for running back.
Oh, running back. Who's starting the quarterback? Because McCarthy's still out, isn't he?
Yeah, McCarthy will still be out.
I know. Justin Jefferson's got 12 receptions for 200 yards this year so far with 1 touchdown. So obviously,
it'll be Carson Wentz starting.
Carson Wentz, okay, yeah. So if the Vikings are going to keep this close, they got to get the ball to Justin Jefferson, give him an opportunity to get some one-on-one balls with that Steelers secondary. If the Steelers have a weak point, it's going to be their secondary. Their front seven those are grown men, and I think with the jet lag and everything that's been, even though they've been over there all week, I still think the time change. I think there's going to be a slow start to the game, and then after that, whoever wakes up first and gets the first couple of scores is probably going to walk away with that winner. I'm going to go with the Steelers as well, and no, not because they have Aaron Rodgers, but because I just think their defense is a little bit better than Minnesota's right now.
Yeah, I think Minnesota's trying to heal up those injuries, and when they do get back healthy, they'll be decent. I think this is more of a learning year for J.J. McCarthy, and there's really no expectations coming out of the Vikings organization.
Right.
I think they were willing to kind of tank this year to let J.J. develop.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Commanders and Falcons. I believe Mariota will still be starting for the Commanders this week.
Yeah, so some news coming out of Washington. Daniel says he's good, but he's waiting on the doctors to release him. So
that may be a game time decision there.
Yeah, but I still don't think he's going to play this week. I think they're going to wait and let Mariota play this weekend. I think me and you both think that Falcons are probably going to lose this game anyway if they play like they played last week.
Yeah.
If
they play how they did against the Bucs, they win. If they play like they did against the Panthers, they lose.
Yeah. So it just depends on which Falcons team shows up at this point.
Yeah, and it's at home in Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
I know me and you potentially looked at going to this game, but with Jaden Daniels potentially not playing, I don't think it's even worth going to the game.
No, no, I agree.
I'm kind of to the point now with being a Falcons fan that I normally go to Falcons games to watch people I like on other teams.
Yeah, that's typically how it works.
Still in that 1 o'clock slate, we got Saints at Bills. Buffalo's picked by 15.5. That's a scary spread for the NFL. If you're in the sports betting world, do not forget that these are professional athletes. They get paid to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how good the Bills look. A 15.5 point spread is scary to take in the NFL. You're asking for a lot of points, and you're asking for really good defense.
And honestly, if anybody's going to cover that, it's going to be Buffalo, both on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. See, New Orleans is they're 0-3. I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to beat Buffalo playing in Buffalo. I think Josh Allen's going to go off. He's already thrown for 755 yards and 5 touchdowns, and then Cook's already ran 53 carries for 284 yards and 4 touchdowns. I don't see New Orleans being able to hang with Buffalo in this game at all.
No, I don't see Saints winning, but kind of like I said last Thursday when I picked the right side of the spread for the Dolphins-Bills game, is anything above 11 points is hard to cover in the NFL. But sometimes you get surprised and it's an absolute blowout. Like, no one expected the Panthers to win by 30 last weekend.
Right.
Next up, we got Lions and Browns. Browns are coming off a really big win against Green Bay. I don't think that occurs with the Lions. I think Lions have the ability to cover 9.5 in this game.
Yeah, Jared Goff, 761 total yards so far this year, 7 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Montgomery, Lions running back, 34 carries, 233 yards, 3 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 20 receptions, 237 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think the Lions are going to be too much for the Browns. Plus, they're playing in Detroit. It's hard to beat Detroit when they're playing at home.
For sure.
So I think Detroit wins this.
Next up, we got Panthers Patriots. New England's picked by 5.5, over under 42.5. If the Panthers play how they did last weekend, they win this ball game.
I agree. I agree. The question is whether or not they're going to be able to do that. They are playing New England at home. New England's a tough team to beat at home. But I agree with you. Yeah, if they play like they played last week, Panthers walk away with a win.
Next up, we got Chargers versus the Giants. This is going to be the first weekend for Jackson Dart to start.
Yeah, and Chargers are 3-0. I foresee the Chargers becoming 4-0 at the end of this game. Justin Herbert, 860 total yards so far this year, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Giants have got to find an identity on offense and stick to it. If you're going to start Russell, start Russell. If you're going to start Jackson, start Jackson. But pick one and stick with them through the good and the bad, through the criticism, whatever the case may be. If Jackson's your future quarterback, then get him in there and let him start learning. And then just hope for the best. Will they win some games? 100%. Are they going to make the playoffs? Absolutely not. But you're giving the kid an opportunity to get out there and play and get some experience under his belt and get him ready for next year.
Yeah, and get him developed.
Yeah, and get him developed the way he needs to be developed. But yeah, the Chargers are 4-0 after this.
Next up, we got Eagles-Bucks. Phillies picked in this game by 3.5. This is going to be a really tough game, especially NFC-wise.
Yeah, and I think the Eagles will win this, and I'll tell you why. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks are dealing with a lot of injuries. Mike Evans is not going to be playing. Some of the other wide receivers are not going to be playing. They got some injuries on the defense. I think the injuries are going to hurt the Buccaneers this weekend, and I think Philly's going to walk away with a win. I think it'll be close, but in the end, I think the Eagles walk away with a win. And I hate to pick against the Buccaneers. I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. I love Tampa Bay, but I might be surprised they may pull one out since they're playing at home. But I think it's going to be difficult with the injuries that they're dealing with this week.
This is kind of the battle to be one of the last remaining 3-0 teams throughout the NFL. I believe there's only 5 or 6 teams.
Oh, you mean 0-3?
3-0.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Eagles and the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many? Yeah. There's not many.
I believe there's 5 or 6.
Yeah. Because the Colts are still undefeated. The Eagles, the Bucks, and what? Chargers, Bills, and that's it. I think. 49ers. I'm sorry. Yeah, 49ers.
Next up on the opposite side of this, we roll into 2 0-3 teams trying to pick up their first one of the year between the Titans and the Texans. Texans win this ball game.
Yeah, they're playing at home. I think C.J. Stroud's going to go out. I mean, he's not having a really good year right now. 599 total yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He needs to get he needs some more weapons on the perimeter. I think they've got a good running game, but I think he needs some more receivers. But I think you're right. I think the Titans struggle, and I think Houston gets their first win.
Next up, we got 3-0 Colts versus the 2-1 Rams.
I think this is probably going to be one of the better games of Sunday.
I do as well, and I think the Rams have the ability to hand the Colts their first loss of the year.
Yeah. Daniel Jones is playing well. 816 total yards so far this year, 3 touchdowns. But I think that having to go out to L.A. and I think having to play the Rams at home, Sean McVay, outstanding coach. I think that it's going to be a close game, and what the spread's 3.5.
It is.
Yeah. The Rams win this one at home, but be on the lookout for an upset because obviously, if anybody can pull it out, it's going to be the Colts.
Yeah, next up we got the Niners versus Jaguars. Niners are dealing with a lot of injuries right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick a pick in this game.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Trevor Lawrence, 671 yards total, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions so far this year. Are you shitting me? I mean,
he's not getting re-signed after this year.
I mean, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, playing the 49ers at home, even if Mac Jones is starting quarterback, 49ers win this game. And again, I hate picking against Jaguars because I'm a Florida guy. I love my state. That's where I'm from. But I just don't think the Jaguars are going to have the year that they were expecting to have, and I don't think they're going to beat San Francisco at home.
Probably one of the better games of the weekend is going to be the Ravens versus the Chiefs. Baltimore's picked in this game by 2.5. Over-under's 48.5. Ravens walk away with this ball game.
100%. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Lamar Jackson is going to come off of that loss last week with the whole team is going to have an attitude of we need to prove to everybody who we are, and I think I feel sorry for the Chiefs. I think Derrick Henry gets the ball probably a little bit more. They didn't use him very well last week, and I think the Ravens win this. And, and then the poor Chiefs will be 1-3 and probably not knowing where to go.
It's about time for the Chiefs, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Rolling into a game, I'm just going to refuse to make a pick here. Is Bears-Raiders.
Raiders win at home.
Both kind of poverty teams of the NFL right now.
Yeah, I think Geno goes out and has a good game against the Bears. I think Caleb Williams and them will keep it close, but I think just being the Raiders being at home in Las Vegas, I think they win that game.
Yeah, for the primetime game, it's going to be Packers-Cowboys. If Green Bay has the collapse that they did last week and it carries over into this week, Cowboys may walk away with it.
Yeah, and I think Green Bay has some questions that they need to answer, and the best way to do that is to go out and beat the Cowboys decisively. Micah Parsons will be playing in that game. I think he's going to get a couple of sacks on Prescott. I think that's going to be the difference, though, is going to be the defensive side of the ball. And I think because he's going to Dallas, he just left Dallas. I think he wants to prove something to them as well. And I see the Packers winning this game.
Next up for Monday night, we got the Jets and Dolphins, both looking for their first win.
So I think Justin Fields was back at practice this week. So now whether or not he's playing Sunday, I don't know. I don't think they've released that yet or not. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think the Jets win this game and get their first win of the season. I think Miami's just in a bad spot right now. And, they got issues down in Miami that need to be fixed. And they're not going to be able to do it this year. So I think the Jets get their first win and Miami goes 0-4.
Yeah, I see Jets winning this game as well. Kind of depends, though. If Dolphins play how they did against the Bills, Dolphins can easily win this ball game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
Into the next primetime game for Monday night, which will close out the NFL slate, is Bengals versus Broncos. Joe Burrow is still out. Broncos win this game handedly.
Yeah, Bo Nix is having kind of a little bit of an off year. He's only thrown for 535 yards and 5 touchdowns, but the issue is he's already thrown 3 interceptions. J.K. Dobbins has only carried the ball 41 times for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase has got 21 receptions, 241 yards, 1 touchdown for Cincinnati. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you that one person ain't going to win that game. I think whoever has the better rushing attack is going to win this game, and I think the advantage goes to the Broncos. Plus, they're playing in Denver, so you got to deal with the altitude. You got to deal with the home field advantage for Denver. I think Denver wins this game and goes 2-2, and then Bengals will be 2-2 as well.
Yeah, I do as well, and I can honestly see Denver covering this spread of 7.5. I know I didn't give any bets out for NFL. I typically try to refrain from any kind of sports betting in the NFL, just because it's so hard to pick a good line.
Yeah. On a side note, I don't know if you saw it, but the 2026 Hall of Fame class was named. Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Frank Gore, LaShawn McCoy, David Castro, Marquise Pouncey from the Pouncey brothers, Geno Atkins, Jarrell Casey, and Thomas Davis are all lining up that 2026 class for the Hall of Fame. So Drew Brees finally got nominated, and so did Larry Fitzgerald. So Frank Gore too. Frank Gore was running back for San Francisco there for a while. So good for them. Maybe they'll get in. What you looking at over there?
Just some news. Side note. Did you see the press conference with Micah Parsons today?
No, I did.
And he's like, so they asked him, just kind of funny part of the NFL, they asked him about how many tickets did you buy for this weekend for kind of your homecoming. So apparently before he was traded, he bought a suite at Dallas's stadium, and they refused to refund him his money for the year. So now basically he has a Cowboy suite anytime he wants it. And that's what he'll be using for the game this weekend. If I was Micah, I'd be jumping on SeatGeek, and I'd be posting those tickets every weekend trying to get some money back.
Yeah, really. Either that or just bring his whole family up and let them sit in that suite and watch the game.
I think that's what he's doing for this weekend, but I'm saying like on a regular weekend where he's not playing.
See if he can get some money off of him. I'm sure there's people out there that'll probably pay him money for those seats.
Yeah, I don't.
There's still a few Cowboy fans out there. We know there's not many, but we know there's a few.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do anything, or his family is going to do anything to support the Cowboys throughout the year, which is kind of funny. Anyways, though, we got a very exciting slate of college football and NFL this weekend. Like I kind of said earlier, lines for the week is going to be Florida State starting tomorrow. Go ahead and pay for your drinks for the weekend. And then we can cover drinks for the whole month of basically October as it's coming up with Georgia Tech minus 13.5, USC minus 6.5, and LSU Ole Miss over 57.5.
It's going to be a good game. All those games are going to be great. It's going to be a good weekend of college football. We're starting to get into the conference games across the Power 5 conferences. We're going to start to see who's going to be making a run for the college football playoff toward the end of the year. Essentially, they're separating the men from the boys at this point in time. And then, of course, as we continue to move on to the NFL season, it's only week 4, but we're going to start seeing some big games coming up here as we get into the middle of the season, and we're going to start seeing some of those teams separate themselves as well. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to a good season so far. But with that being said, we want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight on Beyond the Game. If you guys wouldn't mind, we'd like you to subscribe to us, review it. We got some already pre-recorded shows on our YouTube page. Share it with friends, family, and on your social media. Go follow us on our Instagram and Facebook pages. Our TikTok page, is our TikTok page up and running yet?
Our TikTok page is going to be up and running tomorrow, and clips kind of will start getting posted throughout the weekend and into the next week. Yeah, we
said this a couple of weeks ago. We're not sponsored by anybody. We're not getting paid to do this. This is just something we're doing on our own. We work for a living. So we're just doing this because we're two guys that like to talk about ball, especially football. So we appreciate everybody coming out and joining. We try to do these every Tuesday and Thursday night. So if you don't have anything to do on Tuesday and Thursday night, come on out and hang out with us. You can also reach us at beyondthegamepodcast6@gmail.com, and you feel free to email us any suggestions, comments, or concerns. If you do watch us while we're live, obviously you can post your comments. Our production manager, we call him God, will be watching out for the comments and let us know. And every now and then you might hear a voice from above talking to us. So, but we're excited, and we appreciate everybody's support. So if you guys enjoyed it, come back and see us next week, and y'all enjoy the weekend, enjoy the games, and y'all be safe.